Passion, drive, persistence, resilience, love. All qualities that shape and define us. Join the Cyber Warrior as he helps shape your path. This is Walk With Me. Welcome back to Walk With Me, a Cyber Warrior Studios production. I'm your host on this journey, the Cyber Warrior. Today I have a question about careers. So it's pretty interesting because it's more they're asking about my careers. And the first part of it, and it's a two-part question, is what is the best thing I have ever done for my career? And honestly, it's hard to say. I've made a lot of good choices. I've made a lot of bad choices. But for me personally, it would probably have been going to the military. Even though I had an opportunity and worked a lot of jobs before I went into the active duty military and even into the Guard. I had done a lot with computers. I think that experience opened me up to networking with more people, because prior to going active duty and prior to entering the military at all, I didn't really know anyone in IT or cybersecurity or computers at all. And with my chosen career field, we tend to be introverts. And so I felt like that it was something extremely valuable to me. So if it wasn't for that, I think it would have taken me a lot longer to find a job and find where in the career field I wanted to be. And I think that can go for anything. No matter what you do in life, you have to honestly find ways to make a job, a career, or whatever work for you. And the best way I found was the military. And again, that's not for everybody. Not everyone can join the military. Not everybody wants to join the military. And that's fine. I'm okay with my decisions, and I'm happy with the choices I made and how I got into the career field. But it's, again, not for everyone. For some, you have to go through school right away. You have to get that internship and find different jobs. I utilized the military as my internship, and a paid one at that. It also provided me a good bit of travel and allowed me to get to know a lot of good people that have helped guide me along in my career. So I would have to say that's probably the best thing I've done for my career. For those that are not in the military, have no plans of it, I'm okay with that, and I'm honestly happy for you, because if you can find another way, I would say go and get your internships and network and meet people. And this goes for any career field, because no matter what job you do in life, you have to know people, and it makes life worth living when you know people, especially good people that are going to lift you up and be positive and everything else like that. One of the other things I think it did for me was allowed me to develop the ability to wake up early. For years, I always hated waking up early. Even in the military, I hated it, just being honest. But it gave me the capability to do so. And by doing that, and then by me restructuring kind of my body and my energy and things of that nature to be able to wake up early, it's allowed me to be more functional in the morning and get a lot more work done. As before, if you're only functioning later on in the day, certain jobs, it's not possible. And so it made my working abilities a lot harder. So once I developed that, once I was able to start waking up early, it made my work, my life, and just things in general a lot easier for me. And then of course you build onto it the working out, and just overall I'm healthier now that I'm waking up early and able to do more things in the morning and spend more time with my family in the evenings when they're actually home, and I can spend time with my kids and things of that nature. Yeah, I think as far as the best move for my career, it was the military. Now on to the second part of this question, which gets even more interesting, is what is the worst thing I ever did for my career? And this one is kind of entertaining and comical, but I would have to say it was leaving a good job and a good position for more money. When I worked for one of the companies upon leaving the Army, it was a good job. I knew everybody there. They were good people. I enjoyed my team, and I was doing something that I enjoyed. And then the director for there left and went to another company, and we had known each other and connected prior to me leaving the Army. And he gave me a call one day after I had been with this company for about a year and a half. and he said, hey, I need someone to do this position. I'm going to pay you more money, and you'll be able to do kind of a different part of the job, which allowed me to get some more experience. But I got there, so I had left after 18 months with one organization, went to this other organization, and due to the situation, he ended up leaving, I don't know, probably within 3 months of me being there. And so I spent the next 3 months trying to figure out if I was still going to have a job and if my work was on par with what they were expecting anymore, because it was a completely different management team. And the way things worked out, well, I ended up getting let go from that position. And there were a multitude of reasons behind it. And I learned at that point, when you go to leave an organization, don't do it just for the money. And B, if you're following somebody essentially, or if someone you know, one of your contacts, if you notice they tend to go from job to job because they're always looking for more money. Again, not a bad thing. Not everybody can live that way. I personally can't. Then it may not be a good idea to leave somewhere where you think this person is going to be your supervisor for years and they end up leaving. So that was probably the hardest part of my career, the worst decision I ever made. And it was a huge amount of stress that was put on my shoulders for a long while. Even before I was let go and had to find a new job, which I'm very happy with now. I've been with for 2 years, but I was extremely stressed. I was frustrated. I was depressed. And then being let go just added on top of the issues. So yeah, I won't ever leave a place just because someone called me up and it sounds too good to be true. For me personally, it would take investigation and research to look into whether or not this person that wants to hire you based on friendship, working together before, are they actually going to stay? Do they stay in a particular job or with a particular organization? Because I am very loyal to the companies I try to work for, and I don't like to leave. I don't go looking for jobs once I get hired. So for me, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to put forth my best effort every day. And if I am working for someone and they leave to go to another place within months of me being hired there, then it was a bad decision. And at that point it was. So I would say that was the worst move I ever made in my career. Not to say I didn't benefit from it by finding the job I have now eventually, but it was the amount of stress that I was under and the depression and everything else I was dealing with at that time was something that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And when you have a family and you're worried about whether or not you're going to have a job the next day, it gets very stressful. So I would definitely say that was the worst move I ever made. But otherwise, yeah, I'm happy with a lot of the decisions I've made in my career. One of the things I will say, and one of the things I'll kind of, add on to this is you have to be able to live with the consequences of your actions. So many times we want to blame others for things that happen to us. But in reality, we make our own choices. We make our own decisions in life. So you have to look at what the possible consequences of those decisions are. And if you're not willing to deal with those consequences, then should you really be making that decision? And it could be something you say, it could be a career move, it could be, the way you treat others. But if you are not willing to deal with the consequences of your actions, then you should probably not be making that choice if it could have a negative consequence. Now, if you're willing to handle those consequences, if you're willing to deal with whatever blowback there is, then go for it. But, I choose to live in a more positive light and rate the things that I do and how it'll affect people in such a way that I'm happy with the consequences, because at the end of the day, if I'm helping someone these days, then it's a good consequence. And so that's kind of where I'm at in the way I do things, especially in my career. I'm always looking at helping more people and doing more for the organizations that I work for. I would hope that shines through. And that's what I want for everybody else. So if you're, whoever asked the question, if you're looking for, advice on your career, I would say, if you can wake up early, wake up early. It helps immensely. And then make decisions where you can live with the consequences. For me, joining the military, I was able to live with that. I enjoyed a good portion of it, even though it had its issues. but I really did enjoy it. And I met a lot of good people, and it helped me break out of my shell and network more and get to know more people and be able to interact with different cultures and things of that nature that, where I may not have been able to do so growing up. So I thought that was very beneficial, and it allowed me to open my mind more to what's really out there. And as far as, bad decisions, just watch what you're doing. And if you're going to leave an organization, leave on a good note. And as long as you're putting your best foot forward, then no matter what happens in your life, no one can talk bad about you in terms of your career, because you're able to look at it, look at what you've done, look at how you approach every situation, and know that you are doing the best that you can. So again, I've made some bad decisions. I've made some really good decisions, but at the end of the day, I'm going to pick myself back up. I'm going to move on. I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to do the very best that I can. And so that's all I ask for anybody else, is just do the very, very best that you can. So as I'm wrapping this up, and this one is a little bit shorter, I do want to, as always, leave you with some words of wisdom. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you take these words to heart, because they are very, very important. So once again, this is going to come from the Havamal, and this one is going to be stanza 59. And this one speaks to me personally, especially with everything I do with the podcasts and content creation on YouTube and social media presence and everything like that. So this one is: rise early if you have no one to work for you, and get straight to work. You lose more than time if you sleep when it dawns. For the early riser, wealth is half won. And that's Havamal stanza 59. And I get it, not everybody's an early riser, not everybody can wake up early. Some people do work shift work and can work at night or work on their own time. And hey, more power to you. For me personally, I find my mind works better early in the morning. So that is why that one speaks to me. And you can flip that to whatever, as long as you're able to take those words and incorporate it in your life. I think it could do a lot of good for you. Now, this has been another amazing episode of Walk With Me, a Cyber Warrior Studios production. And I hope you take all of this with you and carry it forward. And I hope, my story can benefit you in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, feel free to drop a rating or follow us on any of your major podcast platforms. And you can even go to Good Pods, where you can review every episode to let me know what you think about this. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoy your week, and I will see you all, I will speak to you all in the next one. Take care.